Hi guys, we're joined today by Nicola and we're so excited to have you. For anyone who doesn't know, you're the founder of CLIQ, an app focused on making real life connections and exited founder of beauty app MyRev. We would love it if you could introduce yourself and take us back to the beginning, a bit about how you got the idea for MyRev and then CLIQ.
Yeah, no, thank you so much for having me. So excited to be here. Thank you for the intro. Yes, I'm Nicola and I'm the founder of CLIQ, which is a social networking and community app. And my journey probably started in entrepreneurship. I'd say I lose track of time, probably like 6, 7 years ago when I moved to Australia with my partner, Jason, and I was a makeup artist. And I wanted to get more work where I lived, but I found it really difficult because I was just in Melbourne with a bunch of friends, didn't really know anyone, realized that I had to build my own network, make my own friends, but then also build a client base. And I really struggled. And I think myself and Jason went away on that trip to find ourselves. It sounds so cliche. We didn't really know what we wanted to do. And I've always had that kind of entrepreneurial part of me that maybe I shied away from and I didn't really know where it was going to come out of me. And had the idea for an app, which was a beauty booking platform, which connected beauty professionals with consumers to help people get more work, help them get clients, deposits, payments, all of that kind of thing. This was pre-COVID, and pre-COVID, everything was so salon heavy. No one really helped the self-employed and the freelancers. Whereas I feel like after COVID, the industry massive change, and now we really support freelancers and we want to book people that are self-employed, and we don't want to go to the chains as much. But pre-COVID, everything was so salon heavy. And I was like, why are they getting all the help, but we're getting zero help? Basically came and introduced him one day with this crazy idea and he was like, let's just go for it. And I think we'd always wanted to do something. We'd always potentially want to do something together. And it felt like one of those light bulb moments where we're like, okay, maybe this is our answer. We'd been traveling for 2.5 years by that point. So it was a long time coming back to the UK to no job, no house, no kid, like no responsibilities, basically. So it was the perfect time to start a business. So I just went all in, came back to the UK and was like, Mum, I've started a business. So she's like, you've gone absolutely crazy. What have you been doing out there? And just knew we really had something. And then COVID hit. But that was really good for us because, like I said, that massive industry change happened afterwards. And after COVID, we were named like one of the fastest growing beauty platforms in the UK. It was really growing and growing. We wanted to get investment. And then we ended up getting a partial acquisition. So after 2 years, Revolution Beauty, the makeup brand, we spoke to them and they basically saw the incentive of them bringing it in-house. We could use their tech team. We could use everything they built, all the infrastructure. Didn't need to raise any money again. They'd do everything for us and we'd just be slotted into their ecosystem. So for us, it was like a no-brainer deal. And yeah, we took that, moved down to London literally the next week. It was like a roller coaster and then worked with them for a year. And then it was a full exit after a year. So that was like a 3-year journey. And I look back and I'm like, wow, like how did we do that from having no business experience, no tech experience, going traveling one day thinking, what the hell are we going to do? To then building a business that got an acquisition. And then found ourselves in a place in London where we're like, okay, we've not made any effort to meet anyone new because we've been so busy. I've got loads of free time. Our friends are all at work. Like we want to do things, but we don't have anyone to do it with. And I really wanted to meet other female founders. I didn't want to meet them in a business setting. I wanted to go for brunch on a weekend or go to Pilates or go for a walk with them. And I also was like, maybe I want to join a run club. Maybe I'm interested in other things. And I was really interested in this community space, but noticed there was nowhere to find them. And me and Jason literally sat down one day and we're like, how do you meet people? What do you do? Downloaded all the apps out there and we're like, oh my gosh, it's so transactional.
Yeah.
It's like dating app style apps, or there's like Facebook groups, just so outdated and so spammy. I was like, if you want to join a run club, what do? You go on Instagram and you find Run Club. Then you're searching through all these different ones. Then you're on a WhatsApp chat. Then there's an Eventbrite link. Everything was so disjointed. And we had the idea, I think, about 3 months into doing nothing, basically. So we had all the time in the world and we actually did a bit more traveling. So we went to Bali. We're like, right, okay, I want to switch my phone off. I want to just get inspired, get out there, and also go back to one of the places where we first began our journey and kind of like reminisce on our journey. And whilst we're out there, we noticed the trend in Bali of all these community groups and everyone was so social. You'd sit in a cafe and someone come and sit next to you and be like, hi, what are you working on? You don't get that in London. And this whole community space, and we just couldn't stop thinking about what is now CLIQ. And it was an app that has all these communities under one roof, connects people really easily. It's based on like-minded interests. But then on the other hand, it's like a tool for community leaders, for event organizers to have everything under one roof. So everything's not so disjointed. And that's how it came about. So both businesses have been very much a personal problem that we wanted to solve. But I'm realizing how many other people are also solving these issues. Like with CLIQ, you turn on the news, everything's about loneliness, depression rates, mental health, all of these things. And none of the big social apps are doing anything to solve it. So we're like, okay, why can't we be the ones to change the industry a little bit? Maybe very delusional, but someone's got to do it. It's not been easy. Learned so many things, made so many mistakes, but I feel like the first business was definitely a stepping stone to CLIQ. I feel like I've really found my purpose and my passion, and it's connecting people, creating these safe spaces for people to connect. And I've noticed that along the way. And I think when I look back at why My Rev was also successful, it's got a community element to it. So we had a space where beauty professionals could come and meet each other. We were doing like networking events. They could chat to the team. We'd send them products. They create content. They felt like they were part of something. Whereas all the other platforms were like, you get a booking and that's it. We had both sides of it. And I think now more than ever, people just want to feel like they're part of something.
Definitely. You had My Rev for 3 years and it was incredible, your first app. What was it like exiting My Rev?
Yeah, it was a mix of emotions. You go through the highs and the lows. It's a long process as well. I think that was one part maybe we weren't prepared for. It's like a full on legal nightmare when you look into these things. But like looking back, I'm so proud of what we did from going from, like I said, an idea literally in a foreign country one day and we're living out there to then growing it into an acquisition when we didn't even know that was possible. And when we first started My Rev, one, I didn't really know investment would be an option. And two, an acquisition, I didn't even think that would be in the picture. I thought you had to be a business 10, 20, 30 times the size of what we were doing to get acquired. So when it happened, I was like, wow. I literally rang my mum and she was like, are you being scammed? Because it just felt like it was so out of the blue. And then you go through the whole process. And then afterwards, it's a weird one because you kind of feel like you've lost your identity a little bit. Do you know, like you go to an event or like you walk into a room and you introduce yourself as like the founder of, or I do this. And then you don't have that anymore. You're like, wow, you have to like really go back and figure out who you are and what do you do next. And that was like, I'd say quite a tough period for myself and for Jason of like going back into that mode of like, okay, what we're going to do now? We're still really young. We've still got so many things we want to do. We want to start another business. What's it going to be? We had no ideas. Like CLIQ wasn't even a thing until 3 months on. But what it gave us was so much time to figure out what we wanted to do. In my head, I was like, okay, we can take a year out. We can go travel forever. And then you get that itch and you get really bored. I think once you've been an entrepreneur, not many people are never not an entrepreneur. Again, you always have something to focus on. But yeah, it's a weird one.
Yeah, definitely. When you're an entrepreneur, because you're so creative, you have all these ideas, like you need to bring them to life. How did exiting My Rev shape your approach to building CLIQ?
I'd say like with that business, we learned a lot, especially when we were inside the public company, like we were like sponges. So we were working with people that had been in business for years and years and years, and we'd never been exposed to that before. Where I grew up, I'd say it was very, I don't want to say small minded, but I didn't really know anyone that had a business. I didn't know anyone that had been through investment. I didn't know anything. So we learned it all ourselves and built our network from the ground, living in Nottingham and like driving down to London to meet people and do all these things because there was nothing around us. And then we were immersed in this atmosphere where it was so creative, but also so ambitious. And we were around the founder and all these people. And we were just definitely sponges, learning so much. Like we had a peek behind the curtain of what it's like to be inside a public company of 400 people. Not many people get that 2 years on in their journey. So we learned so many things. One of the main things we learn is people are everything. The people that you spend your time with, the people that you have involved in the business, the investors, all of that kind of stuff, like they're the most important people because they will really shape your business. At the beginning of a business, it's like, it's you're the founder, or like myself and Jason, we're the founders, it's our idea, it's our baby. And then it grows to something that's so much bigger than you. And you have to employ people and get people involved in the business. And it's such an exciting step, but also very scary because that can really change the trajectory of how your business runs. So I think the main things that I learned is people are everything. And if you have a gut feeling about a person or whatever it is, just follow it because it's always right in the end.
Yeah. So true. What do you see for the future with CLIQ within that same time frame that you managed to grow My Rev?
I think with CLIQ, it's so different because I think with My Rev, it was a little bit limited in terms of there's only so many beauty professionals in the UK, and there's only so many people that have disposable income to book beauty treatments. So you only have a certain market. I think with CLIQ, it's so much bigger because it appeals to so many different people. Everyone wants to meet someone new at all stages of their life. No matter how many friends you have or what circles you're in or what your job role is, everyone's really open to meeting new people. So we can reach such a wider range of people. And like with CLIQ now, we've done more probably minus the acquisition, more in the year that we've been running CLIQ than we ever did with MyRev in terms of growth and scale. So it's a point now where a lot of the things we're doing I've never done before. And that's quite daunting, I think, especially as an entrepreneur, to start doing things that you've not really done before. You kind of get comfortable in what you're doing. And then when you start pushing yourself out your comfort zone, you're like, wow, there's so much more to learn. Sometimes you feel like you've learned everything. And then like something comes up and I'm like, oh my gosh, I have no idea how to do this. But I think that's like such a good part of the journey of being an entrepreneur is you're constantly learning, you're constantly growing, you're constantly being that 1% better every single day. And with CLIQ, I just feel like it goes so, so much further than My Rev. And like the big goal is potentially an acquisition in the future, but it'll potentially be an acquisition from someone way bigger and like a lot more money and all these things that will, yeah, I think it'll be a longer time frame.
Yeah. And can you share a bit more about the mission of CLIQ? I know you mentioned loneliness, and we love that. It's such a big topic at the
Yeah.
moment. So if you could give us a bit more behind that idea.
Yeah, so CLIQ ultimately connects people online and offline. It's very much a hybrid model of, okay, you download the app, you put what you're interested in, you join the communities you're interested in, and it's all about those safe spaces where you can dip your toes in a little bit. You can test the waters, you can introduce yourself, and then you feel so much more comfortable to go to that event. I think when we looked at other platforms, you've got like your chat platforms and you've got your community like white label platforms, then you've got your event platforms. None of them are building anything community focused. And I know that if I'm going to an event, you want to know who's going to be there. You want to know how many people is going to be there. You want to know like the full picture. Like sometimes we go to events and we just buy a ticket off a ticketing platform. We don't have any clue what we're getting ourselves in for. So many people drop out and so many people feel so nervous to go. With CLIQ, every feature that we build, it's like, how does this help the community or how does this really help someone to push themselves out of their comfort zone? And that's something I'm really passionate about because it took me a while to push myself out of my comfort zone. But then when I started doing it, I realized how much my life changed. And I want to bring that to other people. Like you can literally change your life by pushing yourself out your comfort zone and trying new things and meeting new people. And you don't know what's going to come from going to that event. But if you just buy a ticket and you're like sat there waiting around to turn up, when it comes to it, you're like, oh, do I really want to go? I feel really nervous. So everything with CLIQ and the whole mission is like, how do we make people feel comfortable to meet people? How do we make it super authentic? How do we help this huge loneliness crisis that's going up and up and up? I think when you think of lonely people, traditionally you think of like older people sat at home on their own, but the stats of Gen Z and millennials, the loneliness is insane. It's huge. We spoke to a lot of university students and the amount of people that spend their weeks sat in their dorm room and they don't go to events, they don't speak to people because they feel lonely. And I think it is the rise of social media that's caused this amongst young people. So that's why we want to be an app that kind of disrupts that industry and makes it so easy for anyone to download the app, no matter who you are, where you're from, and come and find a community and event that you really resonate with.
And everyone's in the same boat as well. So it's like you can go alone, it's absolutely fine.
Exactly. And I think when it's interest based as well, say you're super shy, you've never been to an event on your own before, but you love reading. You go to a book club, you can talk about the book. You go to a run club, you can talk about the run. It's not like just chucking loads of people in a room and asking them to chat, because that can be so scary to people. You've got a common interest that you can speak to people about. So it makes people feel so much more comfortable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like-minded people. Yeah, for sure. I wish it almost existed 5 years ago. When
Yeah,
I know. I look back on my life because I dropped out of university after 3 months because I just felt like I hadn't found my people. And then I moved to Australia and wanted to meet people. And then I moved back home and felt like I was in such a different position to the people that I knew. And I wanted to meet people. Then I moved to London, I wanted to meet people. Like it's so applicable to so many stages of my life. And I feel like even in the future, it will be. Maybe when I have kids one day, you want to meet other mums. All of these different things, it can be so interchangeable throughout your life. But yeah, I agree. I wish I had this idea 10 years ago. But then my life might have been totally different. Who knows?
yeah, so true.
We know that you built CLIQ with zero marketing budget and you've raised over £500,000 already, which is
Yes.
incredible. How did you achieve that success without a traditional marketing push?
When you don't have money in the beginning, you have to be very creative. And we didn't get the money until probably like a few months into CLIQ. And I learned from the first business, you got to test and learn everything. Even when you have money, you have to test and learn everything. Nothing's going to go viral on that first content, and that paid ad's not going to hit 10,000 downloads straight away. You've really got to test and learn. And I think we were really smart in the beginning to be like, okay, how can we get mass amount of users and basically test the app before going for investment so we've got something to prove? And that was going after communities that already exist. I think when we looked at other apps, it was very much you create your own community, but then you've got to let someone be in control of that community. And when you get mass scale and you get all those hundreds of thousands of downloads and you're expecting everyone to just kind of figure it out, people have never built communities before. Whereas we were like, okay, if we start with communities that already exist, one, it sets the tone for clicks. When you download the app, there's communities there that can be super engaged. They can have events every week, all of that kind of stuff. But also, that community brings the users for them. So if we get a community, say a run club that's traditionally got a WhatsApp, WhatsApps aren't very safe. You don't know who's in there. Everyone's got their number. All of these different issues that occur with WhatsApp, we get them to move over to CLIQ and they shut that WhatsApp down. We can get 1,000 members overnight. So it's all about going after those communities that already exist, finding diverse range of communities, getting them to use CLIQ, which everyone just absolutely loves. It's never been a hard sell to get people onto the app, and they bring their users with them, hopefully. And then what happens from that, we get that nice network effects of people from them groups, they join other groups, they start their own groups, and that's how it grew really organically. And that's our strategy, and that will always be our strategy. Like we're growing in Australia at the moment, which is really exciting because that's like a full circle moment. Used to live there. And we're using that strategy. Go after the communities, go after the creators, go after the brands that are out there, get them to start using it. They start building it for you. And then when you're ready to do the paid marketing, you've already got the base there. I learned that from the first business. Like CLIQ is, even though it's not a marketplace, it follows the marketplace model of like chicken and egg. With the first business, it was like, well, you can't have beauty professionals in one area if you don't have the customers, but you can't have the customers if you don't have the beauty professionals. It's same with CLIQ. Like you can't have people downloading the app and then nothing for them. But then you don't want communities that aren't getting any traction. So it's always a tricky situation of like, what do you go for first? But I always think set the tone of the app with whatever it is. So whether it's beauty professionals, whether it's communities. So when people are downloading the app, they have things that they can stick to. And now like our engagement's really high and our app's really sticky because we've done that. And now as well, when people create their own communities, they have a bit of a benchmark to go off of. They can see all the nice logos and how they run their communities and all these things that it makes people want to do that themselves. Whereas you go on an app and there's pictures of like, join my run club and it's a picture of a tree and then someone's got a picture of their cat and like it's not aesthetic. That's going to set the tone and that's what other people are going to do. So that's been our strategy and that will always be our strategy moving forward, but starting to incorporate some paid spend soon as well.
When you are going to investors, you need to pitch, and they're always looking for something for people who are wanting to pitch to investors. What do you say that they're looking
I think I've learned from probably, I don't even know how many pitches I've done. I want to say 1,000. Like it probably is quite a lot in terms of MyRev and CLIQ. With investment, everyone just looks for something different. And it's very hard to create the perfect pitch or create the perfect pitch deck because I learned that with the first business. We'd speak to an investor and they'd be like, I think you should put this in your pitch deck. I think you should talk more about this. You change that. And then you go on the next call and then someone else tells you to do something different. And you're constantly just chopping and changing the pitch deck and the pitch based on what the last person said. Whereas with CLIQ, we're so much more like strong-willed about our pitch. And it has been reiterated, it has been changed so many times. But now we're at a point where it's like, if someone gives us feedback, we've got to think, has that feedback been given to us before? If it has, then yeah, maybe we should change that. But if that's just one person's opinion, that we can't keep changing it for everyone's opinion. I think with the stage that we're at now, it's very different to when we raised our first round. So our first round, because it was like pre-seed, we were revenue generating. It was a very, very early stage business. People invest in the mission, they invest in the team, they invest in you. You're basically selling them a dream, like invest in me and we'll do this, which is so exciting. And you get so many amazing investors on board. And we're very lucky that all of our investors are just so aligned with the mission, whether it's themselves or they have children that are facing these issues, whatever it is, they're so aligned with it. Now we're at a stage now where we're further along. It's all about metrics, which is a very different conversation. And it's an exciting one to put yourself in that bracket, but it's so different to what people look for, like pre-seed when you get to seed. And then when you get to Series A and beyond, it's just even more and more and more metrics focused. But ultimately, investors want a return. And that's what they want to know. They want to know, when are they going to make their money back in X amount of years and how much money they're going to make. And it's so opinion based. Literally, you can have one person that's like, oh, you guys are going to be the next Facebook. You're going to do it. I'm going to put my money into you. I'm going to do all this. And then you have a call 10 minutes later and they're like, I don't think it's going to work. And I get it. If you're putting your hard earned money into someone, you want to really believe in it and you want to really like them. And some people have very strong opinions, and that's fine. I think you've got to be so thick skinned, because it is like soul destroying sometimes when you're going, no, 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 every single day. But I always think like the no's always lead up to a yes somewhere. And you've got to take those no's to make you stronger. And I also think not everyone's going to like your business. And I think investment is one of the things where people are very opinionated about it and they will tell you, whereas you don't really get that normally. Like, you don't get people telling you that they don't like parts of your business on a day-to-day basis unless you're going through investment. So I think it's a rocky journey, but then when you look back and you're like, oh my gosh, we did it. We've raised £500,000. And I'm like, wow, that is incredible to do.
Incredible.
And we're raising it again now because it is just a constant raising game, especially with tech businesses. You need the money to scale. But yeah, just looking back and I'm like, I'm so glad it worked out. And you forget about the no's. Like, I can't even think of one person that said no. No, I just think of all the people that said yes, even though there was probably like 200 no's. You just got to keep going.
It's just genuinely having that resilience. And when you do get all the rejection and the no's, it means you're building up that resilience now. And then it just doesn't phase you anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you just have to have self-belief.
You do.
That actually brings me on to one of the questions I wanted to ask you about investors. Have you had any crazy comments or anything from investors?
Yeah, so my first investor actually made me cry.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, it was awful. So obviously very early on in entrepreneurship, didn't even really know much about investment, to be honest. We put together this pitch deck and I had an investor call with a man, and me and Jason did it separate because we were like, we want to know what we're getting ourselves in for. We want to test our own confidence. Yeah, first investor call. Luckily, my camera wasn't working on my laptop. I don't know why. It always worked. This one time it didn't work. Now I look back, I'm like, the universe was giving me, protecting me. Because he basically got the deck up and was going slide by slide and was saying like awful things. He was just slating every single part of the business. And he said to me, like, you're just a young girl that thinks she's going to make something of herself. The comments were awful. He was like, why do you think you're going to do this? Like, you've got no place here. All of these awful things, like beauty doesn't make any money. Like, this is a ridiculous idea. Just slate, slate, slate. Behind the camera, I was like crying my eyes out. He would never know. I still don't think he would ever know. Like, he was just one of those people that maybe like to put young women down. I don't know what it was. Maybe he was in a really bad mood. I don't know. I don't know this man. I never spoke to him since. But it really shaped me because I came off that call and I was like, oh my gosh, this is going to be hard. I went into it like, oh, it's fine. Everyone's going to invest. Everyone's going to give me loads of money. Everyone's going to love the idea. And then I was like, wow, reality check. This is going to be way harder than I thought. And then after that, I think like just built my confidence up and up and up. And I'm so glad that happened on the first one. Because maybe it was the universe like testing me a little bit, being like, you do know it's going to be hard? You think it's going to be easy? And like, it was so worth it in the end. You come out so much stronger. But I imagine having your first investor call and the guy makes you cry. Like, what are the chances?
Well, I wonder if he's seen how successful it's been and regrets that.
Yes, I know. He's out there somewhere. But it just makes the story so much better as well, doesn't it? You got to go through these things.
It is so tough as a woman in business. Do you have any advice for women that do want to start out?
Yeah, I think don't always look at the stats in a negative mindset. Because there's so many stats out there about female investment, female founders, female businesses, all of these things. You look at the stats and you think, why would I bother? Half the time. But I think you've got to look at the stats and be like, no, we can be part of the movement that changes these stats. Because if you look at, okay, less than 2% of funding goes to female founders and you think, I'm never going to get it, then like, what is the point? We've got to be the ones to look at that and be like, let's turn it into a positive, that there's so much room for us to get so much more. There's a lot in the news, a lot on LinkedIn, a lot on social media all the time about female founders, and people have very strong opinions about it. There's so many people out there that will help you. You just got to find them. There's so many people that will make you cry, but that's okay. We stick together and it makes us stronger. But I think finding those people that are like the allies, whether it's men, whether it's women, that are willing to help you. I've realized so much along my journey, people are really willing to help if you just ask them. Sometimes we have that pride where we don't want to ask for help because it seems like we don't know enough or we're not good enough. But you need people around you to support you, 100%. And building a female community was something that's really important to me. And that's why I have the supper series, which is a female community for female founders. And we do supper clubs, we do brunches, we do everything, because I know when I first started out in this journey, I had no one. And I was like, wow, I don't know another female founder. Whereas now I know I've got 10 female founders, maybe more, that I could turn to and just give them a message. And that's such a nice place to be. But I've built that over 5 years of going to every single networking event out there, wasting my time half the time, wasting my money, but being desperate to find that connection. So now being able to create that for other people is so amazing. And we don't even need to be there. Me and Sienna, who I run it with, we stand there sometimes and everyone's just like making friends, and had so many success stories of people becoming best friends, going for coffees after it, going to events together, working on their business together. And I'm like, wow, we've created these spaces for it. And I wish that I had that when I started out. So yeah, surrounding yourself with like-minded people is so important.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you just need that community. You need that support, don't you? And earlier when you said only 2% get VC funding, like you can be that 2%,
Yeah.
or we can raise the percentage.
Exactly. With 5%, 10%, hopefully, like we're getting there. It's going up like the most minuscule amount. But that's the only way we change it, is by doing it ourselves. We can't expect to sit around, do nothing, and for it to change.
So, Nicola, you're obviously building this amazing app. What keeps you so motivated? Because obviously, as an entrepreneur, it's not all sunshine and roses. You have the tough days. How do you stay motivated?
I think one thing that keeps me motivated is the impact that we're having. The amount of DMs that we get and cold LinkedIn messages that I get, or we get people coming up to us event, like literally CLIQ is changing our lives. I'm like, wow, this is so crazy. I've had people that are like, I just moved to London, didn't know anyone, saw CLIQ on Instagram, downloaded it. I've been to 5 events and now I have loads of friends. Or every time we do an event, someone will come up to me and will just say like, thank you so much for creating this space. I'm like, wow, we really do have the chance to change so many people's lives here. And I think that's such a good place to be and such a privileged place to be. If I was to quit, all these people wouldn't be able to connect or meet people. And I think the impact we've had in such a short space of time, imagine what we can do in 2 years, 5 years, it's going to be crazy. So that definitely does drive me and keep me motivated. It's very hard as a founder, I think, to have constant motivation. And I think you're just going to be kind to yourself as well. Some days you are going to wake up and be like, I'm really not feeling it today. Especially as women, we go through so many different changes with our bodies and all these things that do impact the way that we work. I think we need to learn to be kinder to ourselves. Things like hustle culture is so glamorized on Instagram that you got to be working till 10 p.m, up again at 6, straight on your laptop, all of these things, but you're just going to get burnt out. And I've learned that the hard way. I've been burnt out so many times, whereas now I'm like, you've got to listen to your body. You've got to listen to what you're feeling. You've got to take rest. But then there's sometimes you have got to work really hard, but it's all about prioritizing what's important in that moment. And yeah, again, surrounding yourself with like-minded people that also motivate you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we love that.
So I know you mentioned earlier that you came up with the idea of My Rev while you were in Australia. You had dropped out of university. But on the theme of hustle culture and burnout, do you have any practical tips for people that are working a 9 to 5 but still want a side hustle or want to pursue a business?
I always think like you don't have to go all in straight away. I think sometimes you think you've got to quit your job tomorrow and start the business and go all in. If you can do that and you've got backup savings, all of those things, like you've got a safety net, then fine. But I think there's so many things you can do to test and learn and start small. Like you can keep your 9 to 5 and work on the weekends a little bit or work in the evenings, dedicate a few hours a day and transition into that. But I think if you've got an idea that you can't stop thinking about, then you should always go for it. I always think, what am I going to regret when I'm 70 years old and look back on my life? Am I going to regret not starting the business, or am I going to regret starting the business? Always going to regret not doing something. So I think if you've got that passion for something, you can always make it work no matter your circumstances. And yeah, just start small, test the waters a little bit, try a few different things, see what you like. You don't need to go all in. But then when you are ready to go all in, just have that self-belief of know, okay, this is what I really want to do. It's what I'm passionate about, and just go for it.
Yeah. We actually want to start a business ourselves, so we've had a few ideas.
Really?
But yeah, it's sometimes a little bit hard to balance office life and then going home and trying to decompress from work, but also work on our own business.
It is as well. And then you want a social life and you want all these things. I think I've learned the hard way again that you can't do everything at once. I can't be having the best time running Click, plus working out every day, plus seeing my friends, and plus resting and whatever else it is. Something's got to give. And I think you can prioritize things one week and the next week you can prioritize something else. Maybe you've got more of a chill week at work one week. You'd be like, okay, I can work a bit later in the evenings. Or if you've got a hectic week at work, maybe the business will take a little bit of a downside. I think it's just figuring out how it fits into your life is really important. But if the idea that you have is something that you're really, really passionate about and you're both like smiling your head off,
Yeah.
so I feel like it is, you'll just make it work.
Yeah. I think also with the podcast, we obviously have 9 to 5s, but we wanted to do this so much and it made us happy that we do make it happen and we do it after work.
Yeah, you make it work, don't you?
And if it's a passion, then you're going to have fun doing it as well.
Exactly. And I think that with CLIQ, sometimes I'm like, oh my God, I'm having so much fun. This does not feel like work, which is the best place to be because that's what life should be like. We're only on this planet for so many years. You want to enjoy what you're doing. I think so many people get stuck in something they're unhappy with. And that makes me really sad because I think you've only just got so much time. You're only going to be this age, one, make the most of it. And I get the older you get, the harder it gets because there's so many responsibilities that come into play. And was very lucky with the first business that we weren't coming home to a job and we were going to live with our parents and we had that security blanket. Whereas now with CLIQ, everything feels like so much more of a risk. So you have bills to pay and you have all these things. And I'm like, oh my gosh, we have to make this work because I can't go back to my parents' house. So it's all about just making it work for you and whatever your circumstances are.
When you're first starting out your entrepreneurial journey, how important do you think it is to surround yourself with like-minded people?
How do you find those people?
Yeah.
I guess now we have CLIQ.
Yeah.
Now you find them through CLIQ. I think it's so important. I realized when I look back on the first business and being in a town where I didn't know anyone that had started a business, and my friends had started businesses, felt very lonely. I felt like I was a bit of the outsider. Like, why am I doing this? Everyone else is doing this a certain way, but I'm the only one doing this. And it felt really, really lonely. But now when I look at my life building CLIQ, surrounding myself with like-minded people has made me more ambitious, made me more driven, so more motivated. But it also shows that we can do it. We can all motivate each other. If I'm on a really rubbish day and go on social media, I'm going to see someone that I know, a female founder, and she's done something amazing. She's been Forbes 30 under 30. She's got this amazing PR article, or she's done this cool event. I'm like, oh, wow. It gives you the motivation. It gives you that buzz. I think you really do need to surround yourself with people like that. We can follow all the influencers, all the content creators in the world, but we don't know them. So we kind of don't know their struggles. You look at Grace Beverly, whoever it is, and you're like, oh my gosh, I'd love to be her. I'd love to live her life. But you also don't know the downside of that. You don't know the stuff that she faces. You don't know how stressed she is. Whereas when you surround yourself with people that are doing similar things to you, it's just real. You know you're not the only one that's like stressing over something and having a breakdown or crying at 4 p.m. on a Thursday. Like other people that's happening to. I think it's so nice to surround yourself with people that are like-minded to you, that you can be raw and honest with, but that can also motivate you and help you. Like when we do our dinner series, so many people start working together. We have people come that have agencies or that in PR, whatever it is, they end up getting clients from the table. And people that started their own brand, maybe they're stuck on, I don't know how to market this, I've never done paid ads before, and someone will help them do that. The impact that it can have is crazy because I always think I've got all this knowledge of starting a business. Imagine if I just kept it to myself. I think like all the people's lives I could change, people that I can help just by sharing my story. It might help one person, and that's amazing. I think we've really got to support each other. I think that's what like an entrepreneurial or whatever it is like-minded circle can do for people.
That's why we wanted to start What I Wish I Knew Sooner as well. We wanted to get the stories of people who are already in it, because you do have the Stephen Bartletts of the Grace Beverleys who have already made it.
Yeah.
And it's like, but what about the people at the beginning or in the middle? We want to know their stories. And so we've actually created a group on CLIQ and it's called Co-Create.
Love
and
this.
we basically just want to help people, entrepreneurs, creators, creative people, just anyone really.
Come together, co-work, share ideas, just get to network and meet like-minded people.
Feel inspired.
I love that. It's so important. I think in a world that we live now where you're not in the office all the time, you work from home, or if you're like self-employed and you're just working on your own, you're not forced into these circles where you have to meet people. So it's really important to meet people no matter what setting that's in.
So we wanted to talk a bit about the fear of entrepreneurship because there are so many people that talk about having business ideas and they'll always get to it one day, but they never actually do it. What would your advice be to someone who's scared to start?
I think just go for it. I know it sounds like, oh, that's so easy for you to say because you've done it, but I do think going for it, and it's that thing of starting small, just trying it out. So many people sit on so many ideas and think how amazing the world could be if people had started these things and they haven't. And also those regrets that these people have. So I think just start it. And also I think what's the worst that can happen if it fails? You just do something else. You just try something else. It's not the end of the world. You don't have to go and spend all your life savings on something unless you really believe in it, you've tested it and learned it. I think you can start in so many different ways. And it is scary, especially if you've never done it before. It is definitely the unknown. But I think we're living in a world now where everything is accessible. Like you can Google, YouTube, ChatGPT, like absolutely everything and learn to do something. You could learn a new skill tomorrow if you wanted to, because we have the world at our fingertips. So I think you can learn so much as well. So don't be scared by not knowing everything because you can figure it out, you can learn it, you can use the AI tools that help you to get there. And then hopefully in the future, when you're building the business, you can hire people that can do the things that you're not very good at. But I think don't let that diminish what you want to do and just try it and go for it and start small and just test and learn.
Yeah, and start before you're fully
Yeah,
ready.
exactly. Because 'cause you're never gonna be ready. It's so funny, there's a quote and it's Barack Obama, and he basically says, "Make a decision when you get to 51% of something. If you're 51% sure, go for it, because you're never gonna get to 100%. You could spend months getting to 100% on a decision, whereas if you're 51%, you're more on that side, so just go for it." Such a random quote, but it works so well.
No, I think that's really great. If you love what you do or you have an idea, you will regret it if you don't go
Yeah.
forward. Did you ever feel like you weren't ready when you started Click?
I don't think so because I had the previous business. With
Yeah.
My Rev, definitely wasn't ready at all. I look back and I'm like, oh my gosh, like the things that we used to do, everything that could have been Googled was Googled, which is great because it's easily accessible. But like it was the silliest mistakes all of the time. Whereas with Click, I feel like so much more well equipped with things because we've been through all that stuff before. So we know how to sell a business, do all the nitty gritty things that you kind of don't know and no one tells you about. So I'd say with Click, it's so much different because we've been way more prepared. Now we're making new mistakes, trying new things. I think, especially growing the team, hiring people, all of that kind of stuff was something we only did at small scale before. But now we're getting to stages of the team growing, which is really exciting. And there's going to be mistakes I make there. Like, I've never been a manager, I've never really been a leader. And now I'm having to step into that role of actually managing people and delegating and all these things. And I'm like, wow, that is something that I've never done before. So I'm learning something new every single time. And I think a mistake is just an obstacle. If you make a mistake, you need to reframe it as like, what can I learn from it and what can I do better? And you're hopefully not going to make that mistake again. But they say if you say make the same mistake more than once, it's the universe testing you. And it's a lesson that the universe is telling you to learn, which is crazy. So keep going back to a partner or something like an ex-partner that's doing horrible to you. It's the universe teaching you
To see
something.
if
So
you've
you
learned a
need
lesson.
to see if you've learned the lesson before.
That kind of leads on to the next question. I was going to ask about, I mean, you mentioned all the investor calls that you had, the one that made you cry. How do you handle failure, rejection, setbacks?
I'm quite an emotional person. I think that's just who I am. It's frustrating sometimes. I'm like, why am I crying? But you just can't help it. I think I'm so passionate about what I'm doing. So if something doesn't work out, then you kind of do have that emotional response. I've learned along the way to get better at that. But also, I think it's part of me. So why should I change that? I'm an emotional person, an emotional person. But I think just having that self belief of trying to not let people's opinions or no's or setbacks or whatever mistake you've made get to you. I think as humans, we can be so self destructive. When something goes wrong, we blame ourselves, it's our fault, all of these things. We don't realize the impact that has on us long term by doing that. It's very hard in the moment. I'm very lucky to have Jason as a co founder because doing it on your own, I'm like, I actually don't know how solo founders do it because you don't have anyone to bounce ideas off, or if like you've had the worst day, someone to bring you up. Whereas with me and Jason, we're very different as people in terms of skill set, but also in personalities. So if I'm having a really bad day and I'm crying, he knows how to bring me up. If he's stressed about something, I know how to bring him up. We've got each other to fall back on. And I think that's such a nice place to be. So it's again surrounding yourself with like-minded people that can help bring you up, but also just try not to be too hard on yourself. It really takes time to not let other people's opinions get to you. Some people are like that naturally, but a lot of us as humans, like we hate rejection. We have such a fear of rejection, where I think rejection is just like a redirection. It's just taking you to another path or another place. And you've just got to, yeah, always stay focused on the bigger picture and just try and have a positive mindset.
I love that. I love all the positive quotes you're dropping as
Yeah.
well.
I love it.
Yeah, really fun.
I love a good quote.
So it's amazing that you work alongside Jason and he's been there to support you and grow the app. Do you have any advice for someone that is looking for a co-founder? Because you've mentioned that some people don't want to go at it solo.
I think it's really finding someone that you trust. I think building a business, it's like me and Jason having a baby. That's all I can describe it as. I don't have children, but I can imagine this is what it's like in a different type of form. You both have something you're so responsible for and you're so passionate about and you love so much. And people that have probably kids will listen to me and be like, she has no idea what she's talking about, because when you have a baby, it's totally different. But that's kind of what we envision it as. So I think when you're building a business with someone, you want someone that you fully trust and that you can be yourself with. It's a long journey. When you're doing a business together, it's like a marriage. Like you're signing a contract to be tied together for X amount of years until you have this business. You've got to be so well aligned with each other. I think me and Jason are very lucky that we're very aligned in life, what we want in life. And I think with co-founders, that's where it can go wrong, because one person wants something and one person wants the other. And then as it starts to get more and more successful, maybe one person gets a bit greedy or whatever it is. And that's when things don't work out. So you need people that are really aligned in the same vision as you with life, also with the business. And I think you have to have totally different skill sets. You have to be not opposite, but I think there's no point having two people that love doing the exact same thing and are really good at the exact same thing, because you need that diversity and you need the variety within the business to take it forward. And that's kind of my top tips, but trust is everything. I really do think at the end of the day, you want to have that honest conversation with someone and not be scared to have that conversation with them and know that you're not going to fall out and argue. There's always going to be things that come up. I think you need to have such a close bond and be so tight knit in everything that you're building to not let that affect the business.
I feel like that means you and I are in a friends marriage. It's actually quite funny how you were like, yeah, it's nice to have someone to support you and to share ideas and bounce off, because I was trying to create my own app and I like got so far of it, I created it and then I was getting users on it. And then I was like, I can't do this on my own. I can't do this. So then Senna was like, yeah, we should create a business together. So I was like, oh my God, I actually love you, because this feels so much more exciting and it just makes you want to push
Yeah,
forward.
you can drive each other and
Yeah.
motivate each other.
Yeah.
And you have someone to share the highs and lows with. Imagine if you were a solo founder and an amazing contract came through or something, and you want to celebrate and you go out with your friend or your partner and they're like, yeah, cool, that's fun. But if it's both of you in it, you can really celebrate. But then the downside of that is if something bad happens, you're both down in the dumps. But you've got someone to resonate with and you've got someone to relate to. And if I come home and I've had a bad day, Jason probably knows why, because he's been through the same thing. So it's not like you've got that mismatch of someone that doesn't understand. You've got someone with you that
Yeah.
understands everything.
You know how I mentioned the MVP? It's great that we have all this technology at the moment. Like you said, now is the time to create a business if you're thinking of creating one. Did you create CLIQ with a prototype first, or did you go straight into
We had a prototype at the beginning. It was very, very basic, had like 3 features, tiny, and we basically took it to a university like group of students and got them to use it and test it. That's a really good way, I think, to test your idea as university students, because a lot of the times in their like modules or their courses, they've got to test out different things. And so we did that, and that was really good for us. It gave us some feedback. And if you look at their MVP that we built, you'd be like, oh my gosh, how have you got to where you are today? Because it was basic. But you have to start somewhere, and it doesn't need to be complicated. Just pick your 3 main main features, whatever it is, and test it and then reiterate on that. And once we had that feedback, we could build CLIQ so much better. Even now, a lot of the app is built off feedback. We're really close to our communities and we're always asking them, what new features do you want to see? What features do you like? Can you test this for us? Do you think this works for your community? Because we'd be nothing without them. I think as founders, you can be so tunnel vision to be like, my idea is the best way. This feature everyone's going to use. Then you develop it and no one uses it and you're like, why? But you've got to get into your customers or your user's brain and figure out what they want because you're the ones building it for them. So I think feedback is so important, especially in those early stages. But I think you should always be reiterating on feedback.
Earlier, you mentioned 2% of women get VC funding. Do you see this changing at all?
Yes, I feel like it has to change. It really does. It has to change because the stats are so stacked against us when you look at it on paper. The only way that it changes is if we start doing things ourselves. We've got to start with our businesses. We've got to support people with businesses. We've got to help people get funding. We've got to become investors ourselves to change that trajectory. Because otherwise, it's never going to happen. As long as we're out there and doing something about it, then it will definitely change.
And a lot of investors want to see a tech lead. I've noticed that if you don't have a tech lead, you won't get the funding. How did you find your tech lead? Was it Jason?
So Jason is our tech lead, but he's not technical.
Okay.
So Jason actually designed the whole app from scratch, yes, but no design experience. He built it all on Canva, which is insane. I know. It's crazy, isn't it? We knew exactly what we wanted in our heads. I think when you work with tech or you work with agency, they give you a designer and you've got to put your vision to a designer and they've got to come back and show you what it's like. So it's like when you design a house, whatever it is, they come back with something you're like, this isn't what I imagined. So if you can design it yourself and give it to a developer, it cuts out that middleman, but also you're getting your vision right in front of the tech people. With investors, some have criticize us for not being technical. Some don't really care. For us, it's like, well, give me money and I'll hire someone technical. And you don't need to be technical to have a tech business. You just bring people in. And that's what's so important to learn about running a business. When we first started the business, we felt like we had to be everything all of the time and the business would fail if we weren't everything. But now I've realized that you can be the one with the vision, you can be the one that's driving the ship. But it's about bringing the right people on board that have those different skill sets that you don't have. Because naturally, no one has all the skill sets to start a business.
Yeah.
And you can't physically. Your brain can't handle that much capacity at once to be doing multiple different things. And you're not going to do it 100%. So it's all about bringing the right people in. I think if you are starting a tech company, you do need someone that has some knowledge of tech. And luckily, Jason's learned that himself. He's not technical, doesn't come from a technical background, but he's learned those skills to get us far enough to hire an agency, to have developers and have those conversations. But ultimately, they're the ones doing all the hard stuff. They're the ones developing, testing and everything. We're just the one looking at the product. But yeah, the plan this year is to bring tech in-house and also have our own kind of like technical lead product person.
Oh, exciting.
So we're going to move on to a new section now. So we call this hot takes. It's where we throw out a few spicy statements and you can tell us quickly whether you agree or disagree and why. So the first one is, being a founder isn't as glamorous as it looks.
It's not, no. It's really not. Oh my gosh, no, I think it's massively glamorized. That's social media, isn't it? We only show our best bits. I only show my best bits. I'm not going to show a video of me in my pajamas crying over something with no makeup on. I haven't brushed my hair. You're just not going to show those parts of it. You only show the best bits. And yeah, it's not for everyone, and that's fine. But I do think it's been glamorized now to be a founder is like the coolest thing. And I do think it is the coolest thing, but you've got to work hard. And I think a lot of people are always like, oh, I'd love to live your life. And I'm like, yeah, but you only see the good stuff. You don't see how hard I work and you don't see all the bad side of things. You just want this glamorous side of things, but it's not always like that at all.
And I guess that's when they give up because they
Yes.
realise actually.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yes.
Working with your friend or your partner is a real relationship test.
It is. Yeah. I do think it's a massive make or break, especially in relationships, because you work together and you live together. If it's friendship, you might have separate houses, you might not, you might still live together. But when you live under the same roof and you're working with someone, it is very all consuming and it does have to be the right fit. I've heard a lot of co-founder relationship breakup stories where they were best friends or they were in a relationship for 3 years, starting a business and didn't work out because it's so testing. And it is literally a roller coaster being in a business. So you've got to have someone that is going to be on that roller coaster with you.
Running a startup means being a full-time content creator.
Yes, in a way it does, especially if you want to build a personal brand as well. That was something that I never really did with the first business. And with Click, I've realized there's so many amazing founders out there that I follow, like Grace Beverly, all these people. And I'm like, they've done so well because they've got a personal brand as well. And I think personal brand now is one of the most important things people talk about being a founder. And it's very hard to find the time to do it. But I do think if you can do it in a way that doesn't take up too much time, it doesn't take you away from the business, but you can still showcase that content, it does make a difference. Like I've recently just started posting on TikTok, thought I was doing like absolutely nothing. I don't get crazy amount of views or anything. And then a girl that came to our supper club, she was like, I found you on TikTok. And I was like, what? And she showed me the video and it was like a random video that I created. It wasn't even one that had done very well. And I was like, wow, it does prove that it does make a difference having a personal brand. And that was something that really scared me because I'd put the business out there as much as possible. But then when I was putting my own face out there, I was so scared of the rejection. And you really do have to get over that if you want to build a personal brand.
And people love that authentic content now, like the day in the life of a founder type thing on TikTok. It's huge, isn't it?
Yeah,
So
Yeah, it is.
relatable. Like
Yeah.
Amy, the one who created
Odd Muse,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, she just literally, I think she's grown so much just because she
Yeah.
shared her whole entire journey and it's also real.
Yeah.
She's crying, she's happy, like every single part of it is amazing.
It is. We get so invested, don't we, in people. And every time I like hear about a cool business, straight away I want to know who the founder is. I don't know why, but it's just so cool to see what someone's built and how they've got there. And you always look at people's stories and it's not the same story. It's not that they came from money or they had a family business or whatever it is. There's a lot of people that are just normal women or normal men that like had an idea and just went for it.
the future of social media is offline.
Yes, in a way. I do think it needs to be the hybrid model. And that's why we create a click in the way that we have. Like, you can't expect people just turn up in a room and that be a community. I think you've really got to foster that online beforehand because we're so used to our phones. We do everything through our phones now. So it definitely has to be a space online, which can be transitioned to offline. But I do think the future of social is definitely offline. People want it now. We're all trying to get our screen time down. We're all trying to stop scrolling, all of these things. So we do need to be out from behind our phone. And there's nothing better than something like this, like being in a room with people as opposed to being sat behind our phone screen. It doesn't make us feel good. So definitely now is the future is offline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I came home the other day, I was like, Charlie, it's like, nope, no phones. You're going out in an hour. Let's just talk.
Yes.
Like,
Why have we forgot to do that?
no, like usually it's just like, oh, should we watch Married at First Sight Australia? It's like, why are we killing this time?
Yeah, literally.
Let's talk. I
Yeah.
want to know you more.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so it's so important though, isn't it? Relationships, friendships, whatever it is. Like, you don't want to go for dinner with someone they just sit on the phone. Like, that is the worst. Oh my, do you know when you sit and you see a family or a couple and they're just on their phones? I'm like, you could have done that at home. Like, why have you come out for dinner? It's so sad to see, but we are addicted to it. You do sometimes get that weird itchy feeling if you can't find your phone. You panic. And I'm like, why? It's just a phone. It's just a piece of tech. People back in the day did not have a phone and they survived. They were fine. But then it's good in some ways because everything's so easy accessible. So it's like, it's so hard.
So now we're going to go on to our listener dilemma part. So this is where someone has come to us that they need advice on something. So this is from Holly, and she said, I'm trying to balance starting a side hustle with my 9 to 5 and a busy social life, but I feel like I'm constantly choosing one over the other. Do I need to sacrifice my day-to-day job or my social life to build something meaningful?
Oh, it's a tough one because I think it depends what your social life is. What do you like about your social life? Are you around people that fill your cup? Are you around people that drain you? I think it's really important to prioritize the relationships that do bring you up and do understand what you're doing. I think when you have a business, sometimes relationships do fall, but I do think they're relationships that weren't meant to be anyway. So I think it's all about prioritizing the people that are going to help you and move you forward and support you, as opposed to just having an amazing social life and feeling great about it. And then with your job, like I said throughout the podcast, if it's something that you're really passionate about and you really have that self-belief and you think it's going to be something and you're not happy in your job, then go for it. Don't waste your time. Nothing good ever comes from just staying in your comfort zone. Dedicate a certain amount of time to help you progress and find people that help you. If you're in a relationship, see if your partner will help you with a few things, friends. You've got so many people around you, and if you've got a great social life, maybe you can incorporate some of that social into a bit of work as well.
You said something along the lines of keeping those people close to you who support you. Sometimes it's like you don't need to be friends with everyone,
No.
and not all of them are going to support you. You actually find more that strangers support you
Yeah.
more. Do you find
So
that?
true. I've learned as well that it used to be very much quantity over quality. And I'd be like, oh my God, I've got loads of friends. It's so good. But if you don't ever see them and don't speak to them, what's the point? Whereas now I'm like, it's quality. It's all about having a handful of people that are quality friends that you can turn to. And maybe that's something that happens when you get older. You realize a little bit more and like life gets busier, that you only have less time. And I think we've found that with CLIQ as well, that it's definitely quality over quantity. And people want that real connection. They want that like minded connection. They don't just want to be friends with anyone. They want to be friends with someone that's really going to push them in the right direction.
I actually saw something on TikTok yesterday, which I was telling you about earlier, where it was a founder and she said that you actually find out who your real friends are
You
when you
do.
start a
Yeah,
business.
100%. And I think that kind of like evil eye jealousy comes out a little bit sometimes, which is a weird one to go through. But I always think if someone's not supporting you, it's a reflection of them. Maybe because you've grown, they feel insecure, or maybe because you've grown, they feel uncomfortable around you because maybe you're a little bit different now. But I think it's a positive for you because you're the one growing, but it's definitely a mirror, especially when you start something or do something, it brings out insecurities in other people. And then you realize, okay, maybe we weren't the greatest of friends anyway, and that's fine. Like, friends don't have to be with you for lifetime. There's that thing, isn't it? Is it a season or a
You said that.
reason?
You
I
literally said
said
that.
that in our first pod.
Did you? Have I got it right? Is it a season and a reason?
Reason, a season of a life.
So it's so true. Like, someone could be in your life for a lesson or just a certain reason and be around for a little bit of time. And then the season is like you're friends for a few years, and that's fine. You grow as people, and then it could be a lifetime. And you always have those core people that will be there for life. And I think that's the ones you should focus on.
So before we wrap up, we obviously want to ask you the one big key question, the theme of the podcast. What do you wish you knew sooner?
I think to believe in myself more. I think when I was younger, I was very shy. I didn't really know what I wanted to do in my life, felt very lost, very lonely at so many points. And I look back and I'm like, wow, I wish I just knew to trust myself more. I wish I just knew to look deep down and have that self belief of, no, I'm okay. I'm going to do this. Whatever it meant to be will be, and just have that belief in myself. I think that takes time. I think sometimes you have to see the big moments to get that self belief, but it shouldn't be the case. Really, you should believe in yourself every day, at every moment, especially in them hard times. That's when it's most important. So I think believing in myself and building that confidence up, which now I look at my life now and I'm like, wow, I wish I'd have known this sooner, that this could be my life. But maybe I was stuck in more of a scarcity mindset where I didn't really think I could have anything, or didn't really know what I wanted to do. And I don't think schools really also teach you that you can be whoever you want to be, and you don't have to go to university, and you can do amazing things. You can start a business. You definitely have to learn that yourself. When I took that move to go traveling, I think that completely changed my life because it took me out of my comfort zone. And that was the first time I experienced that. So I think I wish I knew all of that a little bit sooner, and maybe life would have been a bit easier.
We talk a lot about like pushing ourselves out of our comfort zone is so important. And a lot of people think it's like imposter syndrome, which it might be, but it's so good. It means you're challenging
Yes.
yourself, and it means you're growing and learning and you're becoming a better version of yourself.
Yeah, I think imposter syndrome is actually a good thing.
Yeah.
It's seen as such a negative thing, but I'm like, why do you want to be the smartest person in the room? So if you're the smartest person in the room, you're the smartest person around the table, you're not learning anything, you're not growing. You have to surround yourself with people that are better than you and that you aspire to be to make yourself better. And that's how you grow and that's how you learn.
One of the main questions is where can people find?
Yes, so we are on socials as Find Your Click, and then we are just Click on App Store and Google Play. And then, yeah, my personal socials is just Nicola Gunby.
Are there any exciting things coming up for Click that people should watch out?
Oh, so much. So much is happening. We're in a very exciting transition period at the moment of raising investment, hiring, growing the apps, getting into new countries. Like, Australia's just the start of it. We're going to be expanding internationally. So many things happening, really cool events. We just want to be the app where it's like the place to be. Do you know what I mean? Where all the cool stuff is happening, whether that's doing it ourselves or finding really cool people to do it with. So yeah, lots of things to look out for.
Oh, that's really exciting. Well, we just want to thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Thank
Yeah,
you
we've
for
learned a lot from
Yeah,
you.
we've learned so much from you as well. And we've been so excited to have you on the show and just get to know you more and the app.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys for listening and joining us today. Remember to subscribe and follow. You can find us on Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. And we will see you next time.
See you next time.